Hey, if it ain't fucking perfect cannonball, I ain't paying you. 130? You don't come out till we tell you to. Go. Cannonball. Good? Go. 130. Oh, good. A little bit of rain on the way to Nick's. I'm usually not a bitch about rain. This is a lot though. I don't mind people going slow in this. Boy. I'll tell you what guys, we cannot seem to win with this damn thing. We're back here with Ryan's car. Did a couple of pulls. I'll show you that here in a second. Everything was going well. The problems that we originally had with the fuel pump and the fuel cell, what we ended up figuring out about that was that, well, two things. One, the pump was actually tearing itself apart. There was a lot of aluminum in the system, and we cleaned the filter out, and we put it back in, and there was like immediately aluminum in there. Then we were having issues when we started going up into the pull. Fuel pressure was dropping, and that turned out to be a combination of things. The fuel tank that we had was really small, and so the pulling of the fuel down, like the whirlpool basically that creates, the tank wasn't tall enough for that big ass pump. It was like the 32 gallon per minute pump. It wasn't deep enough, so it was actually pulling that whirlpool all the way down and starving itself. On top of that, we are using so little amount of fuel compared to what that pump was able to provide. The fuel return wasn't baffled either, and so it was just shoving fuel, like I mean fire hose, into that tank. And so it was churning up all the fuel, so we were sucking air and stuff into the rails, so we were getting intermittent drops in fuel pressure and really rocky fuel pressure. Since then, he got a new fuel pump on there. It's a smaller fuel pump, but it's more than enough for what we're doing on this car. And they increased the height of the tank, and they baffled the return. Fuel pressure couldn't be smoother. It is perfect, nice and smooth. Doesn't matter what we do with the injectors, everything is perfectly smooth. So that went really well. We did a pull. We have a lot of timing out on this thing because we don't want the motor to make too much power for, we don't want it to hurt itself basically. So we got way more blower, way more setup on this motor, and we're just trying to, get it to go through smooth, make around 1300 horsepower, something like that. That is requiring us, because we're at 30 PSI, to pull a lot of timing. Boost control is working. It goes up by about 6,400, 6,500. It starts tapering off around 30 PSI, holds 30 PSI all the way until the end of the pull. So not like a supercharger car where it's continuing to rise. We have it come up and then crest over, and that's from having that valve open all the time. So now that we know that we can control it at 30, because we thought it was going to go up to 37 or maybe even 40. Now that we know we can control it down, that means we can start using the solenoid to increase the boost. The problem is we wanted to go and shake it down at around 1,200, 1,300 horsepower, and we're already there with lack of timing and the boost all the way down.
Alright, so I was really pleased about that pass, mainly just because I was looking at the airfield the whole time and I didn't see anything. I kept going up. If you see on this curve right here of the data log, the purple line is the fuel pressure line, and if you can see just how smooth that goes up. It's supposed to trace similar to the map sensor because the fuel pressure regulator is a rising rate, so it should go up in fuel pressure as the map sensor goes up. So yeah, it was really good, and the guess on the fuel was actually pretty good. The closed loop compensation wasn't very much, and if you'll see down at the bottom, the actual air fuel average pretty much traces exactly what the air fuel target was. So all around, that was really, really good and really encouraging. It confirmed that the problems are definitely solved, and we can start really leaning on this thing. So getting fuel sorted out was going to be pretty easy. We did a couple of pulls to clean that up and get the closed loop correction down to as small as possible. So after a hit or two to clean up fuel, we decided to move on to timing. So this next pull was going to be a couple degrees more. We just wanted to see how much power it would pick up per degree, and that was going to give us an idea. We know we're way low in the range. I mean, this is a methanol car, and we are doing really, really low timing numbers. We're doing that on purpose to try to keep this engine from making more power than it's meant to make, but we know we're really, really low in the range even for doing that. So it's time to start creeping up into the power, because what we saw on these last couple of pulls was that we do have control over boost. It goes up to higher than what we wanted it to go up to, but it holds. We didn't think that it would hold. We thought that the that the boost curve was going to continue to go up, although with that blow-off valve always open, that whole curve would be lower. What we ended up seeing is it goes up to about 30 psi, and instead of continuing on like we thought it was going to at that same rate to about 40 pounds of boost, it stays at 30 for the rest of the pull. So from about 7,000 to 8,500, it just tapers off and stays at 30 pounds. So this next pull was supposed to be a timing change at that same exact boost to see how much per degree that we're making. And we ran into a little bit of a hiccup at the very end of this pull. See if you can spot it. So we shut the car off because we wanted to get a good reading on the plugs, and what we missed, because everybody was kind of paying attention to something else, was all of the fuel spewing out of the pipe at the very end. So we went about our normal things. We checked a couple of plugs, and we made some changes. I gave it more timing for the next pull. So we got ready to do the next pull, and we started it up, and this happened. So as you can see, one of those injectors was completely locked open. It was just pouring out fuel. I mean, it was actually pretty incredible how much fuel was actually coming out of that. I don't know if it was stuck all the way open or only partially. I'm not sure, but it put a whole lot of fuel in there. So even though these injectors are like $3,500 for the set, we had maybe, 15 minutes of runtime total on them, and one of them already locked open. Apparently that's really common with them. So called a couple of guys, and they were nice enough to tell us, hey, here's what they do when you send one of those injectors in. And it was basically just spray some PV Blaster in it and pulse it with, we were using a 9-volt battery, but apparently you could just go ahead and pulse it every now and then with a higher voltage battery, 12 or 16 volt. So that's apparently all they do. So that's what we did, and sure enough, it started working again, and we slapped it back in there and continued on. So this was the next pull that we did after we cleaned up that injector. So now that the car was working well, something else had to go wrong, obviously, because we couldn't just have an easygoing time. So yeah, that big old piece of sandpaper flew up from the exhaust, and it could have been really, really bad. It could have gone in the belt. I mean, that would have been, not the most terrible thing. It probably would have just gotten torn up, but we were really worried about stuff flying in the blower. So when I saw that thing flying down, I just, I shut the car off and hoped for the best, but we got lucky on it. The other bad news was the dyno did not read. So we feel pretty happy about what the car was doing right now, but we needed to know what kind of timing we were making per degree as we raised it up. We had gone up 5 degrees and we hadn't been able to verify what power difference it was actually making. So figured we'd make one more pass and see if the dyno would read. And if not, then we were just going to take it to the track and we'll base it off of some other stuff out there. So here was the final pass. All right, so we made one more pull. I gave it even more timing because we wanted to see a pretty significant increase, and we wanted to see what it was going to make per degree, but it didn't read again. So we're just bailing on it on the dyno. I mean, if the tool that we're using to read the power to figure out where we're at on time and range isn't reading consistent, it's not going to do us any good anyway. So we're just wasting fuel, wasting time on the motor. So the last number that we got was I don't know, it was like 1260 or something like that. Still very little amount of timing into it, like very little, and we're regulating it at 30 pounds. So we're just gonna, I think we're at the point where we can go to the track now and start messing with stuff there. So we got a couple of things like the shift points to worry about, and then we're actually gonna start using boost control. And then we can give it some timing, but I'm not a huge fan of doing it at the track because there's other variables. Like if we wanna see how much mile an hour we get out of like 1 or 2 degrees, there's other variables that can ruin that test. If it spins a little bit, if it doesn't get as good of a 60 foot or you know, half track, it does a little shimmy, ruins our test. So I would have liked to have done it here, but we know we're well in the safety. Oh, shit. That was scary. Were we expecting that, or?
Oh, my beer.
I didn't have it in park. Was that my bad?
You don't use park race.
I think I need to now. So yeah, next outing we'll be at the track. Apparently we're gonna have to keep a bunch of PB blaster with us so that we can take the injectors out every now and then and clean them out. That one that got stuck and flooded a bunch of fuel everywhere, that was the remedy. Nick just put them in there and we pulsed it a bunch of times, put some fluid through it, and it eventually unlocked. And then we did these passes and everything went well. So I think we have what we need to start having some fun. All right, so we're gonna weigh it. Is that what we're doing right now? All right, we're just gonna put it over here and see what it weighs. Now that we know what power it makes, if it weighs similar to what we're thinking it's gonna weigh, then that'll give us an idea of what kind of time we're capable of.
Start going that way.
He's like, I told you I'd drive it.
Straight.
Who's all that?
What's your catch can?
Hell yeah.
Got some bullhorn.
And then we got a helmet we can give him, or just toss in the laptop. That'll act as the yeah. Ready to not do a wheelie?
Oh yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Stop leaning on it.
Jeez.
40 pounds.
Set it on the ground, let Nick take a picture of it.
Yeah.
So I can win my money out of Ryan.
What did he say it was gonna be?
He said it's gonna be 3,100.
Oh.
Who said that?
The hood weighs 13 pounds.
So once we were done weighing the car, we went outside and everybody was just kind of wrapping up and getting ready to leave. And I don't know, one thing led to another, I guess.
See? I'm trying to make a little extra scratch. That's cake.
I got 60.
Me too.
I got 40.
I literally only have
Cash
like
in
5.
hand.
Get lit, motherfucker.
Wait, you're not jumping in over there, right?
Oh, you're gonna do a fucking. If it's not.
Yeah, but do you guys know that that's empty?
Hey, yeah, is it empty? Hold on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was not.
Oh,
Yeah, fucking.
I was gonna
get
say,
a
like, I wanted
tetanus
to.
shot.
Yeah, exactly. Jump in, and there's like a rusty
Tetanus.
trailer at the bottom or something.
$100. He's jumping in.
Hey, if it ain't a fucking perfect cannonball, I ain't paying you.
You can go fuck yourself.
I'm talking a fucking.
But there is nothing in there, right?
No, there's nothing in there. I
Like
mean,
100%.
There's just like fucking leaves and shit.
Do I really have to do it with my shoes on?
No.
That no. You know.
No, dude.
Okay.
Them lokes are.
Next
Oh,
guy.
fuck that. Put them socks back on. Fuck that. Put them socks on. You ain't going home dry at all.
Put them socks back on. Like they're gonna stay
Yeah, no,
dry.
sweater on, everything. Just like the bet was made.
No
hat,
loafers though.
Oh, yeah, I
Hat,
forgot.
glasses.
Wait, no loafers
He's
or
fucking
loafers
nervous.
required?
No, no loafers. Them
Oh,
them
okay.
are clean.
Yeah, they're
He may
fancy.
need them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Go repent his sin for fucking.
Go repent his sins. It's the easiest $100 of my life.
Oh no.
Hey, a fucking cannonball. I know half-ass fucking jackknife, a fucking cannonball. What the fuck's a jackknife? You gotta hold your legs until you hit the water. You're not getting paid.
This whole thing slopes down, just to let you know. It's like deep as shit over here.
How deep are these things?
Marco!
Follow!
What if?
Yeah, get the driftwood out of it.
Yeah, I don't. Man, I hope nobody put anything in there since it was full.
Hey, and when you come back up the water, you gotta go back under one more time.
Shit, why? I put my socks back on.
Hey, I'll throw $5 on it, man.
Five? That's 105.
There you go. Hey,
105.
cannonball.
I got 5 too.
Come back up.
Yeah,
For 105.
That's 110. 110. I'll do 5 too. Yeah.
110.
Yeah.
Cannonball, come up, go back down.
Yeah. You gotta do one of those. You know.
What?
Hey,
Come
hold
on,
up.
smile and go back
Hey,
down.
check
Yeah.
this out. I'm gonna fucking throw an extra 20 if you fucking do a ballerina dance.
Yeah. I'll give you a full show.
That's 130.
Ballerina dance. So
Wait.
what's that?
Does he walk out or?
130.
Walk out.
130?
Let's
You
go.
don't come out till we tell you to. Go. Cannonball.
Good? 130.
Oh god. Oh god, he almost fell. Is there anything down there?
All right, ballerina dance. Ballerina dance. Hey, you gotta put your finger on your head and turn around.
I lost my glasses. Hold on.
Oh shit. They go. Do they sink or they float?
Forgot about them. Hold on. We'll find them. Oh. That ain't it.
What the hell was that? That was a ketchup packet. Hey, nice.
All right, hold on. I gotta finish my routine.
Hey, dude.
Nice work. Nice work. Oh, there you go. You got the old perfect 10.
Here.
Hey,
You don't make bets with me.
I gotta get my wallet.
Oh my god.
Oh, going back in. That's cheap entertainment. I only paid $5 for that. So, like, normally, I guess we're like having struggles with the car or whatever, and it's like late, and so we just like head home. But I guess this is what we do when we get done early and we're bored as shit. Fucking dude. Does he have like cloth seats? Or like leather seats in there?
He's fixing to have pneumonia.
Oh, it's gonna be terrible.
That's awesome.
I don't know if he does that on his channels, but he's got a YouTube channel. We'll put the link in the description. All right, guys. As always, thanks for watching. That's gonna do it for this one. But please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Here are some clips from the next video coming up. Don't forget to turn on your notifications so you can see it as soon as it comes out.